Wednesday Addams not only saves her school, but humanity as a whole. However, will Wednesday Addams be held liable for her crimes? Wednesday Addams, the good sister that she is, sees that her brother Pugsley is getting bullied, and so she's gonna take justice into her own hands.
I want names.
Don't know who they were. Honest. It happened so fast.
Pugsley, emotion equals weakness. Pull yourself together. Now.
So we know that Addams is starting to have visions, and so she sees that her brother, of course, is not only being bullied, but she now knows who is bullying her brother. And we're gonna see what happens next.
You okay?
I'm not about to confess to my brother that I've recently been plagued by visions. They come on without warning and feel like electroshock therapy, but without the satisfying afterburn. Leave this to me.
Wednesday? What are you
Leave this to me. So what we're about to see is, what is she going to do about the fact that her little brother is being bullied? Now, what we care about is, as we're giving legal analysis on what she does, is could she be found liable? Could bad things happen legally, criminally, civilly? We're gonna go through it all.
What I do? What I do best.
Yo, Dalton, look! Pixley's sister! Hey, freak! This is a close practice.
Now, some of us might think, well, these guys have it coming. They're calling her names, they've been tormenting her little brother. We're not sure what's about to happen, but is it justified? And is Wednesday legally within her rights to do what's about to happen?
The only person who gets to torture my brother is me.
So at this point, we see that she has bags of piranhas. Where she got them from, I'm not sure. Now, what this tells us is that she had an opportunity to think about this ahead of time. This matters if, for example, what she does leads to the death or severe bodily injury of, well, anyone in that pool. Now we see that one particularly unlucky fellow, of course, did get gotten by the piranhas. And as I understand it, he suffered a loss of a testy, and this then resulted in Wednesday being expelled from school. So when we are looking at this, what happened? He did suffer some kind of severe bodily injury. Is this going to then affect the remainder of his career as a swimming athlete? So is Wednesday criminally culpable for assault, for battery? More than likely, yes, because we know this. We know there was in fact an injury, and we know that there was premeditation. One of the justifications and defenses that Wednesday could utilize is to say, well, it was in defense of another person. Under the law, you have the ability to defend yourself and another person and even your property. And that will be justification in what happens next. Now, in this case, we didn't have imminent danger of bodily harm to Wednesday or to her little brother. Again, there was premeditation, and it seems, based on, well, the screenshot alone, that Wednesday not only premeditated, quite frankly attempted murder, but was quite satisfied with the results thereafter.
Speaking of surprises, your costume's in the tent.
Costume?
OMG, you look perfect! Only
This
thing,
might be my
where
favorite
are your
costume
whiskers?
ever.
Ask again and you'll be down to 8 lives.
In In our next scene and legal analysis, we are considering that this is a student race. This is an annual race between various teams from the school. Now, what we care about at the outside is that we're dealing with a bunch of minors. And when we have a race, we need to make sure that the parents are informed and sign consent waivers. Now, I'm going to be looking to see, are the parents in the crowd? Do parents know about this? Is there some kind of informed consent that's happening?
Each team must row across to Raven Island, pull a flag from Crackstone's crypt, and hustle back without sinking or being sunk.
And hustle back without sinking or being sunk. Now, to my earlier question, are we seeing any kind of parental figures or their actual parents in the audience? No. It looks like there are just students, and in her actual direction, she is telling the students that they can essentially sabotage each other. It seems that there are no rules to this game. We care about this now based on what actually happens in this race. If you are a school putting on an event and you know that your kids are going to be doing things to try to sink each other's boats, that may result in harm, as much as Wednesday and everyone else might like that. Nonetheless, that can result in liability, so let's see what happens.
First team to cross the finish line with their flag wins the cup and bragging rights for a year, as well as some special privileges. Let the Poe Cup begin!
I don't know how safe it is to shoot a gun directly above the students.
Excuse us.
Now we see that one of the teams seems to have a helping hand. Now, is this someone who is at the school? Is it a friend? Is it someone outside of the school? Not entirely sure about that. If you know, please leave a comment down below. So this is a prime example of why we would be concerned about having some kind of liability waiver if we are the school. In that instance, we may have chopped off heads. Had we chopped off heads successfully, this team likely would have had a better opportunity to win the race, but nonetheless, someone's parents would have been upset. And if there's no liability release, then the families of those beheaded would likely sue the school, resulting in the school getting shut down and other bad things happening to those in charge. So then the question might be, if you are a student, and let's say you were in that boat and Mr. Merman just smashed you and your boat, and maybe you hit your head before falling into the water, you now have a concussion, you have to go to the hospital. Besides any liability with the school, what about liability for those participating in this race, right? Mr. Merman. And the answer is that if you were personally harmed by someone, you have civil claims. And so you can sue someone for battery, it could be assault, it could be damage, it could be personal injury claims. There's a lot going on here.
Thing.
Was Wednesday utilizing Thing to assist with netting and restraining Mr. Merman within the confines of the rules of the game? I would say yes, because there are no rules.
Let's go, it's over here.
here and make sure Bianca can't sabotage our boat.
Thing, I need you to distract a couple of jokers.
Again, destruction of property. Is it within the confines of the game and race? The answer is yes, because no rules were set at the outset.
Later, Wednesday.
Come on, come on, come on!
Mr. Merman has freed himself. He is now assaulting the Black Cat boat and trying to get them off course. And to the rescue, Thing comes and punches Mr. Merman in the face. Now, my question is, because I have not identified, is this someone, a student from the actual school? And if the answer is yes, is this a minor? And has Thing just assaulted a minor? And can Thing be held liable for the injuries caused to, well, the minor or merman or whoever this is? And the answer is yes. I just can't help but consider for a moment that was very near those girls' feet. Had it actually come into contact with their ankles, you know where I'm going with this, that could have been very bad. So, you know, as of now, we haven't seen anyone lose a limb, but obviously with the weapons that are being used, there could have been some very, very serious things that happened. Luckily, that did not occur. And alas, we have winners who complied with the rules and won fair and square.
I don't believe in heaven or hell, but I do believe in revenge.
So, together as one, our community and our friends at Nevermore Academy, we've built a monument to celebrate his memory. Now may the spirit of Joseph Crackstone be memorialized for eternity.
Next, we have a monument celebration, and we see that Wednesday is performing as part of the band for the school. She is playing cello. And seemingly quite enjoying herself. we see a giant explosion. There has now been destruction of city property, whereas we've considered private property, private persons, private school events. Now we're dealing with something that is much more public and involving government property. So in this instance, we have Wednesday, who has rigged this explosive device, and it looks like once again she is receiving assistance from Thing. Now Thing is now an accomplice. Despite the fact that she feels justified in what she did, nonetheless, what happens now is that the state itself can bring claims against Wednesday for the destruction of property, setting aside the fact that anyone who may have been harmed who was actually at that event, right, if they suffered some kind of burn or shrapnel that had come from the explosion, they have individual claims against Wednesday. Now, I did not see that there was necessarily any of that with the people in attendance, but nonetheless, what we do know for sure is that if you are going to destroy government property, the strong fist of the law will not only come, but it will be that much stronger because they will want to make an example of you. And of course, while we did not necessarily see it, there may have been, for example, those in attendance having hearing loss. There might be IIED claims, intentional infliction of emotional distress, in that this is something that was absolutely premeditated, planned. Wednesday was aware people would be there, and she intended that there would not only be an explosion, but potentially trauma to those in attendance. This may be one of my favorite scenes for the fact that we get to see Wednesday really expressing herself when it comes to playing the cello and music. This is when we see her really kind of come out of her shell. We also see this a little bit with the dance, which is something we're going to talk about coming up. If you enjoyed this lawyer reacts to Wednesday, be sure to follow on Top Music Attorney on all social media platforms. What kind of inspired this whole thing was that I actually did Wednesday Addams bits if she became an attorney, which you should definitely check out on all social media platforms. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. I do a lot of videos just like this, and I would love for you to join our community. And if you are into dark pop music, feel free to search Miss Krystle on any music platforms, and you can check out a little of the music that I do. Sending you guys positive dark energy. I'll see you on the next one.
I got a secret.